So we've got an official trailer for the Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island expansion, which showcases the island at the very least. And I'm going to be entirely honest, I think the point of the DLC escapes me a little. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure it's going to be very good. Ghost of Tsushima is a very good game before you send this guy to kill me. But this trailer really didn't sell me. Yes, it's Ghost of Tsushima, and yes, it looks decent because it's that. But beyond that, I'm a touch confused as to what the actual point is in the DLC. I'm not saying that to be controversial, I'm just saying how I feel. That 2-minute long trailer showed us a good idea of what this Iki Island expansion is going to be about, and I struggled to define what was shown here from much of the base game. I think for the most part it was hard to look at this trailer and get an actual clear idea as to what it's offering that's actually new, rather than just more content to complete, because don't get me wrong, as good as more content to complete is, and as good as Ghost of Tsushima is, if you can't keep it fresh somehow, I still don't understand what the point is. And for the most part, this trailer shows off some base Ghost of Tsushima, with some cool little cutscenes and some indication that maybe there'll be a little bit of a fantastical element to it, which honestly, I suppose it depends on how it's done, but the idea of some drugs making magical shit happen, which is the usual cop-out for adding this sort of element to a game that's more grounded like Ghost of Tsushima, can either be rarely, but still really good, or really tiresome really quickly. But beyond that, I think I looked at this trailer and struggled to define it really from the experience I had with the base game. Yes, it's new and I'm sure there'll be great content in there, I'm just not seeing much of a reason to fuss yet. That being said, Sucker Punch Productions has put out a couple of tweets showing Jin getting friendly with some animals. It does look kinda wholesome, but how much variety is this going to have from the fox dens that there were simply too many of in the base game? And I hope this doesn't add too much to that 15 to 20 hours of content total that this DLC will allegedly have, in the sense that even if this is in abundance, it shouldn't necessarily be taking away from anything else that you could possibly do in the world space, because petting animals in games is almost like a standard for some reason. It's no longer even a quirky novelty thing. Everyone loves animals, including myself. Here's an excuse to insert some Denbis into your life. You're welcome. But my point is, marketing the fact that you can pet animals in a game is almost a marketing deflector. It never used to be, but now it's not necessarily unique to any one game, but it's the type of feature that never gets old and people gobble up. So when they're showcasing that on Twitter, it makes me think, what are they choosing to not show instead? And why? Maybe I'm looking a little far into that one. Beyond not necessarily wowing me from the trailer, they also released a PlayStation blog that it would be completely remiss of me to ignore. And here's what it says. As part of the director's cut, you'll be able to play a new story expansion featuring Jin set on Iki Island with new locations to discover, characters to meet, tales to complete and more. Jin's journey begins when he discovers that a mysterious Mongol tribe has gained a foothold on Iki. They are led by a revered shaman called Angsar Khatun, known to her followers as the Eagle. The Eagle. It never ends. As both Khatun and the shaman, she is not only a conqueror of nations, but a shepherd of souls, and the danger she presents to Jin and his people is unlike any they have faced, besides from the last one. And the one before that. The only way to counter this threat is for Jin to return to Iki Island. He's been there once before, and in confronting a new and dangerous enemy, he will be forced to face old fears and unearth deeply buried traumas. As you explore a new island and battle new threats, you'll also delve into the dark past of Clan Sakai. Unearth deeply buried traumas. Isn't that something that you do in the main game, sort of? And the dark past of Clan Sakai? What? Okay, I'll look. That actually does sound interesting, to be fair. Our semi-fictional version of Iki Island provides a stark contrast to Tsushima. It is a wild, lawless land of raiders and criminals, scarred by memories of war and fiercely independent. The samurai have not been in control there for decades. Skilled though he is, Jin can't take on the Mongols alone. He'll have to work with or around. That's a word I don't actually know. They always find words I don't know, just to piss me off. Of unsavory characters to take the fight to the Eagle. They can't be asked saying the character's name, so they gave them an easy nickname. The cost of failure is too high. If the Eagle and her tribe subdue Iki and muster the support of its people, Tsushima and the rest of Japan will be in grave danger. The stories you find on Tsushima are filled with action and adventure. The same is true for Iki Island. In the fight to save Iki, Jin will encounter pirates and smugglers, mad monks, and haunted caves. There will be new legends to hear and new techniques to learn. Jin will have to bring all his skills to bear to defeat his new enemy. We'll also continue telling intimate, emotional, personal stories. Stories about real people struggling to let go of old hatreds and survive in a time of war. Stories about how it feels to be caught between preserving cherished beliefs and defending your home. What it means to be Lord Sakai, and what it means to be the Ghost. So is this going to like play sort of into the main overarching narrative of Ghost of Tsushima as like a side story along the way rather than something that happens after? I presume that's what happens. Okay. I think this blog post does a better job of selling the DLC to me than the trailer itself does. However, one concern that it does raise with me is I feel like this DLC is going to tread on the feet of the main narrative a little bit because it appears to be exploring some similar themes. Ghost of Tsushima's main story did this really well, and I don't necessarily see a need to do that again. However, the DLC is going to explore the history of Clan Sakai a little bit, which should be interesting. However, when it comes to Jin's own personal traumas, I feel like that was really well contained in the narrative of the main story and doesn't necessarily need to be explored again, even if it is somehow different. And then when it comes to exploring what it means to be the Ghost and what it means to be Lord Sakai, again, that's something that's explored in the main narrative and I don't see a need to rehash. I guess how well it's done depends on how well it slots into the main story, as this is clearly something that will take place alongside it, rather than something that takes place after it, and will probably fit better if you play it integrated in the main story at some point. But to be honest, I'm kind of struggling to discern what this expansion is actually going to bring new and fresh to the table, besides from a new land to explore, which by the way is always cool in itself. So I think it's fair to say that overall I'm not entirely sold on this expansion just yet, and the way I understand it is the only way to acquire this DLC is to buy it in the director's cut along with a load of other stuff that a lot of people won't necessarily be interested in, and that certainly doesn't help. Maybe I'm just being really ridiculous. Sucker Punch made a brilliant game with Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm sure that quality will hold in this expansion. But let me know what you think about this DLC down in the comments section, of course, because, let's be honest, we'll have differing opinions, and I'd love to hear some other opinions on this than mine. Do I think this DLC is going to be good? I mean, probably. The main game was really good, and I see no reason for the quality to dip. My concern comes from, is it compromising the point of the main narrative by expanding on it in this DLC? And I suppose on that one, only time will tell. So thank you all for watching this video. I really hope you've enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead and maybe leave a like, subscribe if you fancy it, share the channel with your friends and all that wonderful stuff. That would be super fantastic. And with any luck, I'll be seeing you all very soon with another video at some point. But until next time, take care and goodbye.